Welcome to the Geology Easter Challenge, Day 11. So a few thank yous first of all. Thanks to Ruth for sending me pictures from her house in the south of France. Also thanks to Rachel, who's had a go at making some sandstones. And I'll be showing you their attempts later. Also just to let you know that I've compiled all Ian Sharp's questions, all his 10 questions into one video. That's now on our Facebook page and on our YouTube channel as well. I went on another walk last night to the beach and I found this bit of chalk. We've been talking about chalk quite a lot, and also the borings that little bivalves do as they go into the chalk. You can see here tiny little borings, but also some slightly bigger ones here, and then some much bigger ones here, and in fact some of them are so big that they go all the way through. So some of these bivalves, they spend their entire life in these little chalk pebbles. Some of them make it all the way through and then kind of fall out the other end, and some of them actually die within the pebbles. And if you collect these pebbles from a beach, sometimes you can find the bivalve shells still in them, and you end up with rattly rocks. So in my classroom where I work, I've got quite a few rattly rocks that I pick up and shake and they rattle. So I don't think this one rattles. There's none that have died within the pebble. But if you're ever on the beach looking at this sort of thing, check them out, pick them up, see if they rattle. You might find a nice example of a rattly rock. So thanks to Ruth, who sent these beautiful photographs from her house in France of these lovely sea urchins. Sea urchins are certainly some of my favourite types of marine creatures. Thanks also to Rachel, who had a go at making some sandstone. So we've talked quite a lot about coarse-grained igneous and metamorphic rocks, and that they form deep within the earth, and we're talking many kilometres down, maybe 10 kilometres down or more. So the question that a lot of people have is, how do we know about these rocks if they're formed so deep within the earth? And that's a really good question, and it's one that a lot of people struggle with. Well, the answer is that they're no longer that far down. We find them at the Earth's surface. In fact, if we go around Britain today, we find lots of igneous rocks, lots of metamorphic rocks that were formed tens of kilometres down within the Earth, but they're now at the Earth's surface. So this happens by two main processes. Firstly, uplift, due to plate tectonic processes, and secondly, erosion. So these processes take place over many millions of years, but it means that a rock that was formed deep within the earth can now be exposed at the earth's surface, and we can just go and look at it at the earth's surface. It's not like we have to dig down and go and dig it out or anything. So there's an idea that some people do struggle with, all these things we talk about forming deep within the earth. How do we know about them? How can we see them? But it's just because we actually just need to walk over the surface of the earth, and that's where they are. So there's nothing in geology that people kind of guess about. It's all based on evidence. It's all sort of stuff that people have found. So if you have any questions about things like that, they're the sort of things, if you've sort of, well, how do we know? What evidence is there? Then they're the sort of questions that you can ask, and we'll be happy to answer them for you. So your challenge for today is, what is it that you've always wanted to know about geology? What question that you thought was a silly question that never made any sense? Is there something like that that you've always wanted to know? Okay, so there's your challenge. Ask a question about something you always wanted to know, and we'll do our best to answer the questions for you. Okay, see you tomorrow.